Welcome to YAPodcast, the podcast that loves to yap about young adult books. I'm Amy Jones, an avid young adult reader and author. The purpose of this show is to feature the hottest authors and their books currently blazing the young adult platform. Today we have Heather Hildenbrand in the hot seat. Heather is the author of Imitation. Welcome to the show, Heather.
Hello, thank you.
It's great to have you here. Why don't you start out by telling us just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I was going to say I live in Virginia Beach, but I live half the time in Virginia Beach now. I live half my time in Guam. So I am a mobile author these days. And I've been published since 2011. So I have like 10 books out now. And I work from home. I write full time, and I just love it. I will never, ever do anything else because rush hour scares the crap out of me now. And so I actually can't do anything that requires leaving my house. I just can't. So that's me. I have 2 kids and 3 motorcycles. That's me.
Awesome. So Virginia, is that what you said? And
Yes.
Guam. Wow.
Yes.
Sounds like your winter and your summer homes type of deal.
Sure. Yeah. You can call it that. Well, my boyfriend is in the Navy and he lives in Guam right now. So I'm doing back and forth. So I'll do like a few months here with him and then a few months back home with my kids, and so just kind of splitting my time. So right now I'm in Guam. I just got here a little over a week ago, and be here for a couple months and then go back home for a couple months. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That keeps life interesting,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
It does keep life interesting, and I love feeling like I'm having an adventure, and so I always get to feel like that now. It's really cool.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you enjoy doing when you're not writing? I know that's probably a bizarre question to ask a writer because, I mean, that's what we love to do, but certainly there are probably other things you enjoy doing. You hinted at something about motorcycles, so hopefully that will be explained.
It does. That's like the whole answer right there. My boyfriend, he's the one that got me into motorcycles. He rode a motorcycle when I met him, and so I had my first motorcycle ride with him, and I was hooked. It was so exciting. It was so amazing. It was like magic, and also it was not something I was willing to always be a passenger on. From that very first ride, I'm very independent, and I was like, that was great, but I don't want to rely on you or anybody else to like make time to take me for a motorcycle ride. I have to do this myself. And so I did. Within like 3 months of saying that, I got my motorcycle license and bought my first motorcycle. And it's been like a year and a half since then. And I sort of have 3 now.
Wow.
Because I have the one I bought myself, which
They're
is
like potato
that
chips. You can't just have one.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have like this dirt bike back home that we bought as like a project to like put back together. And then when I started coming out here all the time and to Guam, Dylan bought me my own motorcycle to have out here. So yeah, I'm
So you're like this
now.
like writer biker chick.
I think so.
That's
yeah.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you began writing? Were you very young, or is this like a, just something that just kind of hit you, and as an adult?
I think so. It's always a weird, like, I never know how to answer this because I wrote, like I think a lot of writers did. I wrote when I was younger, like when I was a teenager. But I wrote poetry when I was a teenager, and I was like,
who didn't? Let's just be honest.
Really...
We were all a bunch of sappy teenagers, and we all did it. And I wrote
yes!
horrible poetry when I was in high school. So, and no, I will never share it with anybody.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I still have a lot of it. It's very embarrassing. It's very like angsty love poetry and, hormonal teenager poetry. And I started writing a novel after I read The Hobbit because I loved that book and I loved the fantasy world. And so I did start writing a book. I think I hand wrote like 20 pages, and it was basically like fan fiction for The Hobbit now that I look back, but I didn't know that at the time.
Right.
And then I put it away for a really long time, and I didn't start writing again until like 2010. And then all of a sudden it just bit me. It was like it caught up with me, I guess. Like I was like trying to run from it all that time, and all of a sudden it was like, nope, caught you. Because I started writing, and I literally just wrote a book in like 5 months, and just couldn't stop. So, and I've been writing ever since. So.
That's awesome. And you said you were first published in 2011? Is that what you said?
2011 is when I published.
Yes. So see, that's awesome because it says you got hooked again. So basically, you published a year after you really seriously started writing again. So that was pretty quick.
Yeah, that's why I said I feel like it kind of just caught up with me, and like just kind of bit me, wouldn't let go, because as soon as I started writing, it was like boom, it was already like a novel. I mean, I didn't set out to publish it when I started writing it, but by the time I was done, enough people that I knew had read it and said, hey, you should do something with this. So yeah, it was pretty fast.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk a little bit about imitation. What inspired this story? What gave you the idea to write this story?
What inspired imitation? Actually, imitation's such a weird one for me because what inspired it was literally I was just wandering my local library and I came upon the nonfiction. I was wandering the nonfiction stacks, which I didn't really read nonfiction at all back then, so that's funny. But I came on the section that had a whole section about books about cloning, and I thought. And I was, strictly YA at that point, and I thought, that's really a cool concept for fiction. I just feel like that wasn't really done a lot.
Right.
And so I thought that would be really cool if there was a book with cloning in it, but like for just a twist, what if, fiction's all about like getting you to root for the main character, right? Like you have to create empathy so that your readers really want that main character to succeed at whatever they're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if tables were turned and you had to make your reader root for the clone, the person who's technically not even human? And that would just be really cool. And it's funny because I don't like science fiction. I don't read science fiction. But technically, when people are like, what's your book about? And I'm like, oh, it's clones. I know they're thinking science fiction, but I'm like, it's really not. I swear. I don't explain anything. It's totally like a YA love story. It really is. So
well, maybe you could
it's very
say
interesting
it's more
to me because I don't ever write or think of writing something like that.
We could probably stretch it to that whole paranormal realm, instead of just being strictly sci-fi. It could be,
Say it again. I can't hear you. Sorry.
You could stretch it from the sci-fi to the paranormal realm because it's not normal.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So can you describe the process of naming your characters? Are you one of those that has this, scientific method behind how you choose your characters' names, or do you just say, I like the name Fred. You're Fred.
No, I can't do that. I'm way more OCD than that. The name has to fit the character for sure. I did use a baby name book for a while. Now I just Google things a lot just to get ideas. The sound of a name, like sort of shapes the person's personality in your head, I think, when you hear a name. So if you want a strong character, you have to pick a strong name. If you want, sometimes I'll think if I want a guy who acts like an old-fashioned gentleman, I'll pick an old-fashioned name. I don't remember what I thought about for imitation. Maybe I was playing on irony because I'm kind of a nerd like that, and I named her Raven, which normally would suggest dark hair, and she has bleached blonde hair. So maybe I was doing something that I thought was clever, funny. And then for the rest of them, for the imitations, the clones, they are a version of their human. So their name is a version of their human name. So my main character in that series, her name is Ven, V-E-N, because she's a version of Raven.
Oh,
so that part was kind of, yeah.
So it's a part of their name, or maybe it has a similar meaning or something like that to connect them.
Yeah, exactly. And then, okay, like this is like really dorky, but like the main character, his name is Link, and I named him Link because I wanted him to be her link to the human world, like the outside world, and like love and all of that mushy stuff. So that's why I chose that name. So there are some.
That's cool, though. That makes sense.
Yeah, there's like reasons behind stuff. Yeah.
Okay, can you describe, you said that your main character's name was Link. Who are your hero and your heroine, and can you tell us something about them?
Sure. Okay, so Ven is the main character, and she is a clone of a girl named Raven. And she is made for the whole purpose of like serving her clone, her human, in whatever way she needs to. Like if she needs to provide organs for, if Raven gets sick or injured or something and needs some sort of transplant, Ven is created to be there for that. And more often than not, what it is if they need to step in and pretend or pose as their human to the rest of the world who has no idea clones exist, then that's what she does. So sort of like a doppelganger. And
okay.
That's what she gets called up to do. She gets called up to sort of like a secret spy thing. She has to stand in for Raven and not let anybody know that she's not Raven. And then Raven's from a very well-to-do, almost political family, and so she has like a whole security team that protects her, and they really step up and tighten security to protect Ven, who is posing as Raven, because the whole reason Ven was called in is there was a threat against Raven. So she's got this whole security team protecting her, and there's a boy on her security team named Link who hates Raven.
Uh-oh.
But is mysteriously attracted to Ven, even though he doesn't know that they're two different people. So it's very interesting to watch that develop as he's trying to. It's very love-hate.
Okay, let me get this straight. The security team doesn't even know that these like clones exist.
No, for the most part they don't. Nope.
Wow, that's
got
to make it complicated.
Like, what if? Yeah, like think about it. Like, what if all the rich people in the world controlled that? Like, what if you only could get one if you had a ton of money, and sort of like a secret society? That's the only way you would even know they exist, and the rest of us regular people, don't even know that they exist. And so switches are happening. Politicians might be their clone version now because the real version got assassinated, and we don't even know that. They just switched them out and kept it moving so as not to create like a public panic. And so what if something like that were to go down? We would never even know.
See, your story is sci-fi.
I know! It's so weird. But I don't explain anything. Like, I can't explain genetics.
I know. Okay, we don't need to know that part. That's the part we'd fall asleep for anyway, right?
Right.
You've included the exciting part. But that's scary because it's like, it makes me think, I'm like, wow, maybe this is really happening. Maybe this really did happen.
I know. I love
obviously I'm not a rich person because I would know. All right. So
we know what category we fall into, for sure.
Exactly. All right. So the next question might be somewhat weird for you because one of your main characters is a clone. But do you feel like you have anything in common with Ven or Link?
It is a funny question. Yeah. I do with Ven because aside from the clone thing, what really happens with her character is she starts out really like weak and sort of like moldable, and like she just does what everybody tells her. It's kind of like you trying to be the person you think everybody wants you to be instead of who you really are on the inside.
Right.
And like a lot of us, I think, feel like at some point or another in our life, like we're playing a role or just accommodating other people's expectations. And so it's like really like that for her, literally. And I've definitely felt like that before. And then the story arc for her is just, having to step outside of that, no matter how scary or dangerous it really is for her to do so. She's going to have to step outside of that in order to save herself.
Right, because she is human. I mean, she's a clone, so it's not like she's some robot that doesn't have her own feelings and emotions. I mean, she's an actual person. She just happens to share somebody's DNA and look just like them.
Exactly. And so she has to like come to terms with that because, they've been sort of brainwashed to think that they're not even really human or as human as their, counterpart. So, and that's what helps keep them in line. So she has to sort of like accept the real truth for her is that she is her own person and she can do what she wants. So.
Okay. Do you feel like you have anything in common with Link, or is he just the fun sidekick?
Oh, he's not fun. He's pretty, but he's not fun. He's like the serious protector, like he worries, you can't do this, it'll put you in danger. So probably, because I do tend to worry unnecessarily, so there's probably a lot of that in there. Okay. So yeah.
Okay, less serious question. This is a fun one. What books are you currently reading, or have you just finished reading, or what would you like to read if you're so busy with your writing and whatnot right now that you haven't had time to delve into any books yourself?
That is a fun question, but it's frustrating because I am literally staring at my brand new unopened copy of City of Heavenly Fire, and it's been on my coffee table for like a week, and I haven't touched it yet because I've been under all these deadlines, so I'm dying to read it. That's my favorite series. I love Cassandra Clare.
Yes.
Yes, and it's huge. I don't know if you've seen this latest book, but it's a monster, and so I don't want to start it until I know I have enough time to really like get into it and finish it because it's
the same way. I have had mine for like a week now or two or whatever, but so we were out of town. We were in Florida the other week, and next week we're getting ready to go to Pennsylvania to visit family, and I'm like you. I'm like, I don't want to start this book because I want to be able to stay up until 3 a.m. and finish it if that's what needs to be done. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's like, I don't want it to be interrupted. You can't start a book like that and then go out of town for 3 days and then come back home.
No.
It's like once you start it, it's it. You just have to have that time to go straight through nonstop.
Exactly.
So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. And I read that one slow. Like a lot of times when I'm into a book, I'll skim, I'll get excited and want to know what happens. Like I did that with, I just finished Unravel Me, the next book in Tahira Mafi's series, the Shatter Me series.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's amazing too. But I get so excited, I start skimming to see what happens, and then I'll go back and like
you
read
cheater.
the paragraph. I know, but I don't do it all the way through. I just like a couple pages at a time. And then I do go back and reread to soak it in because I love her writing. But I don't do that with Cassandra Clare. I specifically read slow to soak in all of the jace that there is.
Yes. Well, her stuff is like so complex. Like if you skip a page, you'll be lost because so much happens in just a paragraph with her writing style. It's crazy. It's like, what?
I know.
You know when you've skipped a page by accident, like if you've double pressed on your little Kindle clicker, because you're like, wait a minute, something's missing here. Something's wrong.
Right? They're not brother and sister? What? What's going on now?
Exactly. All right, so obviously Cassandra Clare is one of your favorites, which, I mean, she's a YA hero for many YA lovers. But who are some of your other favorite authors?
Okay, so originally, and this always creates like, I'll either make enemies or friends with this.
No,
but,
we're gonna
Twilight.
We're gonna put that warning label out there or whatever you want. If she doesn't mention your name, it doesn't mean that she doesn't love you. It's just that we don't have enough hours in the day to list all of our favorite authors because we just don't have enough time. There's too many.
Exactly. Well, between that and the fact that my first answer was going to be Twilight, yeah, I'm going to make enemies.
I love Twilight too. You know what? Most people just don't want to admit that they love Twilight. It became so popular that it became unpopular to say that you liked it. But I mean, I'm sorry.
The same thing happened with New Kids on the Block in the 90s. Everybody loved them, even the guys. They just stopped admitting it.
Exactly. They just were not brave enough to claim it. Exactly.
Right. So yeah, that one, because it got me reading again. It got me reading YA again.
Yeah.
So that was my first favorite. And I read it at a time where some really dark things were happening in my personal life. And so I actually just got really into the books partly to escape. Like the real gritty definition of escape was that for me with that series. And I reread it like 3 times and in a row for like 2 weeks straight. I really didn't pay attention to my real life or my family. I just needed to escape. And so it's special for me for a lot of reasons. But that's definitely my favorite. And then Cassandra Clare, Rochelle Mead, Vampire Academy, love.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Divergent. John Green, The Fault in Our Stars. Oh my gosh.
Right.
I just made my boyfriend read it and took him to see the movie, and I definitely brought him to the dark side. He was like, we left the movie, and he was like, well, it just wasn't true to the book because blah, 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 blah. And he was critiquing it as writers would do. It kind of made me proud in a way.
Exactly. Wow. You did. You brought him over to the dark side.
I did. I converted him, yes. He thinks like a writer now.
Yeah. It's awful, too, because you have to go watch the movie because you read the book, so you have to go see the movie. But, it just never fails. There's always some level of disappointment because, it just can't ever live up to the book. It just can't.
Right. I know. And I'm very lenient on that, because much more than most of my friends, I believe, as far as, I give movies a lot of leeway. I give shows a lot of leeway when they're based on a book because I know it's going to be different. And honestly, my only complaint with The Fault in Our Stars was that they didn't include more. It wasn't that they changed anything or whatever. It was just they didn't include more. I just wanted more of the awesome lines that I remember.
Yeah.
There were so many great lines. I know they couldn't have. I know for time they couldn't have, but I just wanted more. It wasn't like I thought it was bad or anything. So and Vampire Academy.
You did like it? You did like the Vampire Academy movie?
Yeah, I was going to say, that one I liked, but because I went into it not expecting it to be like the book. And everybody else, of course, it wasn't like the book at all. The characters' personalities even were different. And
That's what I was like. I was like, this is not Rose. Is this the same book? I had to go back and check. I was like, wait, what? But I mean, I'm with you though. I did like the movie, but I had to disengage. I had to be okay, you need to just watch this from the perspective that you're watching this paranormal, young adult age type film. Just disconnect it from the book because if you do, if you're expecting it to be like the books, it was not even close.
Yeah, exactly. So if you just disassociate a little bit, then I don't think it was bad. I just, it was just different. So I was okay with it, but everybody else was not.
Well, you have this die-hard Rochelle Mead fan, so what's he going to do?
Yeah. So.
All right. So what do you have in the works? What projects are you working on right now?
Let's see. Well, right this second, I am working on revising book 2 in my Imitation series, which I have not told anybody why yet, but I am basically rewriting that book. And it will be re-released as a whole new version before the end of this year. So I'm working on that right now, and then another just for fun project that I'm developing, another YA story idea that just will not leave me alone. So I'm trying to work on both right now.
Cool. So is this other idea like something brand new, like a new standalone or a new series, like a totally like new independent concept from your other work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the new idea is a YA series that would be, I guess, a little, well, it's like a spy thing. I don't know what genre to call it yet.
Mystery thriller, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's really cool.
That's neat.
Maybe like suspense, kind of.
Okay.
Action suspense.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it like real world or is it your normal paranormal?
No, it's real world.
Okay.
It's contemporary.
Okay.
But it's definitely like a little bit in the direction of like government conspiracy kind of things, sort of like we were talking about with Imitation, just like stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you don't know about kind of stuff. So
All right.
it's
That's kind of
really fun. Yeah.
cool. All right. Why do you like to write in the young adult genre? What is it that appeals to you? Why do you enjoy writing it?
Oh, that's so easy and so sappy. True love.
Oh.
It's all about true love, for sure. I like writing about it. I like the added emotion that goes into it versus adult novels. Just kind of, they're like jaded by then,
Right.
you know. And I don't want to write. I mean, okay, my new project, the government conspiracy thriller suspense thing. She's very jaded as well, but not so much that she can't be like brought back. You know what I mean?
She can become unjaded. In other words, it's
exactly.
not too late for her. Okay.
She's gonna be fixed. She's not so broken she can't be fixed.
Right. She's not set in
general,
ways.
yeah, I like writing about when you're experiencing that stuff for the first time.
Right. That's very impactful.
Yeah. And then I get to incorporate some of that angsty poetry I wrote when I was a teenager.
Sneak it in there. Right. Blame it on your characters, right? It was her poem.
Right? They wrote this horrible thing, roses are red, violets are blue, I love you. Not me.
That's right. All right. Well, speaking of the paranormal, if you could be some type of a supernatural being, or if you could have some sort of special supernatural talent, what would it be, and why would you choose it?
Oh, definitely flying. Absolutely. My answer is always flying. I love that feeling. When I was a teenager, I rode jet skis all the time with my grandparents, and I loved the feeling of the wind in my face. And then I think that's why I love motorcycles so much.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The adrenaline rush. You're an adrenaline junkie.
Maybe I am. And I still haven't seen Edward anywhere, so it's not working.
Well, darn. Keep trying. Right?
All the Twilight haters are like, what is she talking about?
They'll have to go and rent it. They'll just have to go rent
right?
the
I forced
series,
you.
right? Mm-hmm. But they have to pick up the because that's from Breaking Dawn, right? The second one. Not Breaking Dawn.
No, that's from New Moon.
New Moon, the second one. I always get the second name messed up. Right, exactly. That's what the second one. All right, I'll have to look at that one. All right, so back to Imitation. Why will readers enjoy reading this book? What will they think is different or unique or special about it?
The rewrite? Well, I mean, it's definitely special and unique in just the concept, because there's, at least from what I've read, there's not really anything out there like that right now, which is really cool that in a world where I feel like everything's been done, I feel like this is maybe less done, so it's refreshing.
Well, I can't think of any other clone books off the top of my head.
Right.
Oh, I think you're right.
I have tried. I've gone looking, actually. So to my knowledge, there really isn't anything quite like it, which is just really cool. The concept is fresh. The characters are fresh. The Link, the lover boy, he rides a motorcycle, a sexy motorcycle, so that's exciting. It's sort of like Gossip Girl meets Star-Crossed a little bit.
Cool. That's neat.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it
So
does.
yeah. So if you like either of those, I think you'll love Imitation.
I love both of those, so that's awesome.
Me too. Me too. I picture, when I'm writing Imitation, I seriously picture clones living in the Upper, I mean, it takes place in Washington, D.C., but, like, I picture that penthouse in Upper East Side, like,
Right.
Blair Waldorf's house or something. I totally picture that for these people.
That's right. Exactly. Cool. All right, so you have sort of a secret that you've been keeping from people. And there's going to be Facebook parties and whatnot going on today. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that's exciting. So I finally get to tell the secret that I've been holding in since March, which, if you know me, is like a world record, seriously, to not say anything. So back in March, a publisher contacted me about Imitation and the series, and they had already read book 1, Imitation, and loved it and were interested in signing it and re-releasing it. And so that is what's happening today. Finally, I can talk about it. It's a really cool project, and it's not new just for me, but it's new for the publishing company and the distributor as well. It's a partnership that is brand new. And because of that, they didn't want us talking about it or saying who it was or anything until the books were already out. They just wanted like a big splash all at once. So I haven't been able to talk about it or tell you who it is or what or when, and now I finally can. So Imitation is, as of today, re-released with Alloy Entertainment, which, if you're like me, I had no idea who that was. And all my friends who do know who that is are like seriously groaning at me, like, are you serious? How do you not know? Because you're a writer. But I didn't know. I had to Google them, and then I felt really stupid. Alloy Entertainment is the CW, the WB. Yeah. Vampire Diaries, Gossip Girl, Star-Crossed, like all the shows I love.
Everybody's favorite shows, yeah.
Yes, Pretty Little Liars. Yep. My editor is the editor for Pretty Little Liars. I feel like a freaking rock star every time I say that. So, super exciting. I'm really glad they didn't let me tell them no when I tried, because I had never heard of little old Alloy Entertainment. Oh my gosh.
Little Alloy Entertainment.
So stupid. I can't believe I almost told you no. Anyway, so they have done this really exciting thing where they have partnered with Amazon to do a, it's called Powered by Amazon label. So Amazon, they give Amazon exclusive distribution. So it'll be exclusively on Amazon for a while, ebook only for a while. And just because of doing it that way, then they both kind of help push and promote the book to each of their like readerships, which is cool. So so that happens today. It's out as of today, and there's 2 other authors that are involved in this as well, Amy Salter and Tracy Blanton, and they both have just awesome books out as well that are sort of similar enough to Imitation that if you like one, you're going to love them all. And so it's just super exciting, and we're doing a release party all day on Facebook on Tuesday so that you can go find out more about the books and what the process was like and what's happening, especially for my readers, because Imitation has been out for over a year. So if you're wondering what's going on with book 2, definitely head over to the Facebook party because I can explain all of that. But they've pulled book 2, and it's going to be available for pre-order, hopefully starting right now as I'm letting you hear this. It's up for pre-order. So we'll find out about that Tuesday, though, and I can let you know more about when that's coming. So, yeah.
That is so cool. I'm very exciting. Woohoo!
Yeah. And the story has changed. So if you have read book 1 and you're interested in reading it again, you actually probably will want to before book 2, because it was pretty much rewritten, and book 2 is definitely rewritten. I'm scrapping the entire book 2 and just rewriting the whole thing because
Wow.
that's how I'm gonna roll.
That's how she rolls. That's right. She gets on her motorcycle, and that's how she rolls.
Exactly.
All right. So this is awesome. People want to learn more about you, what's going on with you in your books right now. Where can they find you on the internet? What are your social links, Heather?
Sure. My Facebook is facebook.com/heather.l.hildenbrand. That's my author page, so you can friend me there. And then fan page is Heather Hildenbrand. Twitter is @HeatherHildenBR, so it's like part of my last name.
Okay.
And where else am I? You can search for me on Pinterest. I kind of suck at being on Pinterest. You should find me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram a lot. That's one of the places I don't suck at.
Right. When they go to your website, I'm assuming, like most people, you have a links page. So if they want to find out all the various places that they can find you, there's usually some sort of a hub of where they can find that.
So my blog is heatherhildenbrand.blogspot.com.
Okay.
So that has all of that, and you can go there and find it. Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the favorite part of the show for me and for probably most of my listeners. And Heather has graciously agreed to give us a little blurb or teaser from Imitation. I think you mentioned that you're going to share something with us from the very first chapter of the book. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'll do like the first 3 pages or so. And so like if you've read it before, you can already see like there's a lot of changes to the story. And it introduces the main character and like what she is and what's going on and everything. So.
Perfect. Whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay. Chapter 1. Everyone is exactly like me. There is no one like me. I wrestle with these contradicting truths most nights while the others sleep. Tonight is worse because Marla has left me a note to see her in the morning. No one sees Marla and comes back. Lonnie reminded me of this after she snatched the note out of my shaking hand and read it for Ida, who promptly burst into tears. We didn't speak after that, lying in our bunks until lights out. Above me, Lonnie steadily breathes in and out. She's not worrying herself out of a good night's sleep. She's not the one going to see Marla. Below me, Ida is quiet. I suspect she is awake, ruminating. She has a way of latching onto other people's stress and not letting go until everyone is happy again. I long to call out to her, but there is no talking in the dormitory after lights out. The rough fabric of my cotton nightgown chafes, so I lie very still. Once during a training exercise, they gave me a satin blouse in place of my course uniform. For a few moments, I was completely her, 18-year-old Raven Rogan, my authentic, down to the fabric. The slippery material felt like cool fingertips on a hot day. All I could think was, she wears clothes like this every single day. I know everything about Raven and the world she lives in, thanks to the video footage I watched during my training sessions. But I have never experienced anything for myself, not even the sun. My entire life is an imitation of hers. I am an imitation. All of us here are. From the time the tubes are removed and air is forced into our lungs, until our petri-grown organs learn to contract on their own, we are nothing but shadows of our authentics. I used to think there was an imitation for every authentic. But when I asked my examiner, Josephine, she laughed and said we'd need a whole lot more space here if that was the case. Only special authentics get the privilege of a copy, ones with money, power, influence. It seems as if there are thousands of us, though. It's hard to tell exactly how many exist. Twig City is sorted into sections, our placement depending on our gender, how old we were when they woke us, and whether we've gotten a note from Marla. Those woken at a young age live in a different wing where nurses and teachers chart their development daily. You have to be at least 12 to live on my floor, the training sector, where we learn to become our authentic. but the oldest I've seen is somewhere around 50. There is no saying how long you'll stay in this sector once you're here. Could be a week, could be a year, depending on when your authentic needs you. I've been awake for 5 years, training, preparing, waiting for a note from Marla and for what comes after. Some say Marla is our creator, but I don't think so. I have a memory, a hazy nightmare of the day I woke. None of the first faces I saw were female. One man in particular stands out in the fog. I can't recall his features, but the impression he left is one of utter fear. Though I can't explain it, I am positive this man is our creator. Others say Marla is the gatekeeper, a walker between worlds, connecting us, imitations, to them, the humans, the womb-born, the authentic. I don't know which is true. All I know is no one ever returns from meeting with Marla. That's it.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask this though. And if this is a spoiler, you can shut me down. But do humans have the humans that have these imitations? Do they have multiple imitations, or do they just have the one?
Ah, that's a spoiler. I can't tell you.
Okay. I thought it might be. I wasn't sure.
And based on my answer, you can probably guess.
I would. Well, it was just the way something that you had said when you were reading that kind of like triggered it in my mind, and I was like, "Wow, is there?" Because I was kind of thinking when you were answering your interview questions that it was just maybe one, but now, I guess I'm just have to read the book now and find out.
That's right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was definitely fun and kind of scary in a way, but in a good way. Well, thank you so much for joining us on YAPodcast and sharing your exciting news with us. And we wish you the best of luck with this re-release of Imitation. I can't wait to read it, obviously. Listening to your blurb was exciting, and I have to find out if there's multiple imitations now.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I'm so glad we got to do this.
No problem. And for those who are tuning in, keep yapping about young adult books and the authors who write them.